The Nasdaq is doing a Bitcoin experiment. So it's launching a pilot project in the Nasdaq private market so that handles pre-IPO trading. Kif Leswing is with me now at the International Business Times. So Kif, the Nasdaq essentially is working on creating this kind of decentralized system. So if it works, which middlemen are going to lose?
Well, a lot of them. There's a sense that Bitcoin or the Bitcoin technology can really be leveraged to make a lot of old, antiquated operations a lot more efficient, and that would include banks and clearinghouses and that kind of thing. So
banks, clearinghouses, basically other middlemen are going to lose business, and it seems like lawyers may lose a little bit of money as well.
Yeah, well, the experiment, is really small scale right now, but what it does is it keeps track of pre-IPO companies, and right now, those are hand recorded in ledgers by, lawyers. And if this Bitcoin experiment works, then anyone could go online and check on the blockchain, whether this share has been transferred. And, someone gets paid to make that transfer.
Right. Someone gets paid, and often it's a middleman or a lawyer. Okay. So we pointed out who loses, but who wins? I mean, I know there's about 75 companies that are registered. The Nasdaq sort of started this pre-IPO market about a year and a half ago. 75 companies are registered with the platform. So did the companies gain?
I don't think the companies gain. I think the biggest gainer would be Nasdaq, because when you use Bitcoin in the way they're doing it, there's no transaction cost. So really it cuts down there.
Okay, it cuts down there. What are the biggest systemic concerns, though? Because it's one thing to be cheaper and take all these people from out in the middle. The flip side is, what's the integrity of the verification system, for example?
Well, that's a big problem. And it would happen if, over 51% of the computers managing the blockchain were all owned by the same person. It could really throw a wrench into it.
Or you could even have some bad actors, in theory, getting in the mix.
Well, the great thing about Bitcoin and the blockchain is that a lot of bad actors should be taken out naturally by the system. It's really if someone controls 51% that there would be a really big issue.
So are there other test cases out there? The Nasdaq is doing its thing. Are there other institutions? I know the New York Stock Exchange, I remember at some point partnered with Coinbase. Goldman was looking at somebody. There's a few different bubbles happening,
There's
right?
a lot that can be done with Bitcoin technology. What Nasdaq is doing is they're doing something called colored coins, where it's not about the value of the coin, it's about this data they've embedded in it. And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with that, too. People being able to transfer the deed of their house, for instance, using a colored coin.
All right. Well, the future may be virtual. Kif, it's great to see you. Kif Leswing joining me there at the International Business Times on the Nasdaq's experiment.